Hello, dear ones. It's so good to be talking with you again. I want to begin with telling you a little bit about a small piece of our history, which is about the great thinker, original thinker, William James, who was known as the father of American psychology and was a professor of philosophy at Harvard, and frequently would try out his ideas with groups of Unitarian ministers when he was developing a new lecture or a new train of thought. He was a creative and inspiring thinker. He believed in direct experience, just like the Transcendentalists did. He felt that direct experience was the basis and the foundation of all life. He was very successful and well respected, and because of his great reputation, Stanford University, which wanted to become the rival, the Harvard of the West Coast, invited him to come and be a professor for a year. And he and his wife, Alice, gladly traveled to the West Coast and settled at Stanford, and he was trying out new things. He would lecture, and every time he was trying out a new idea, again, he would gather with the group of local Unitarian ministers to try out his new ideas with them and converse with them and get their feedback on his train of thought and his ideas. While he was there in the spring of 1906, of course, the great earthquake of 1906 occurred. Stanford was destroyed, as was many of the buildings all over the Bay Area. William James, like me, and I say this in a confessional tone, loved earthquakes. I love earthquakes. It is Earth unleashing its power, and it helps teach us that ultimately we are not in control. So this earthquake occurred, and it created great devastations. And when I say that I love earthquakes, I know that I want to temper that with the fact that earthquakes cause great destruction, they injure people, and they cause a loss of innocent lives. But it also is a way where nature teaches us that we are not in ultimate control, as is the coronavirus. It is teaching us that we are not in control, and that as we have tried to be in control of our environment, it's teaching us that climate change is occurring, and climate change is the root cause of what has created the context for this pandemic to occur. It is deforestation and the proximity of animals and human habitation that created the first outbreak of this virus. We are dealing with our own earthquakes here, the pandemic and the uprising, calling for us to restructure our life, to look at the tectonic plates that have rubbed against each other and have finally broken. And the pandemic is teaching us over and over again that we are interconnected and interdependent on one another. When someone doesn't wear a mask, it has implications for all of us. And that is what we are working to learn and embody, that we are one another's caretaker, and we are responsible to one another. The coronavirus and this uprising is teaching us that we need to create, in collaboration with other people, following other people's ideas, creating new structures. Just like in the 1906 earthquake, new building codes were enacted, new structures were built differently, so that those structures, when other earthquakes occurred, were much less destructive because the world shifted in response to that 1906 earthquake. And just as we are being called to shift how we are in the world and how we treat one another, we are living through our own kind of earthquake. So I welcome you into this moment of learning as the earth shakes beneath our feet. Thank you for joining me today. Be well.